I mean, competitive sparring matching. So we had to stop sparring because we got too heated in the sparring match. So Dan pulled us out. Yeah, he got the better of me. He outboxed me. He got the better of me. He did his thing that day, but not to me
either. You know, I had disliked a lot of things that he was saying, you know, and how he was acting. Being that, you know, me, I'm a real individual. I just felt like, you know, we was all cool at one point in time.
Terence Crawford has clapped back at Floyd Mayweather after the boxing icon leaked footage of their sparring session in an attempt to mock him and show critics that Crawford isn't on his level, despite the three-weight undisputed champion's rising acclaim.
Good look, baby. There you go. You only threw one. Good game. Don't break. He's a beast. He's a beast, baby.
Floyd Mayweather has been trying to discredit Terence Crawford ever since his victory over Canelo. When fans began suggesting that Crawford might actually be the better boxer, Mayweather, after repeatedly calling him out with no response, decided to post a short clip of their sparring session on social media showing moments where he seemed to be getting the better of Crawford. The video was quickly deleted, but not before Crawford saw it and fired back. Responding to Mayweather, Crawford said, "This man's such a hater. That wasn't even the full clip. I caught him plenty of times. I don't know why he's being shady."
Mentioned and talked about and, you know, signed, you know, I just felt like he just did a lot of fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, you know, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. You know, I just know, you know, character take you a long way, and I just don't agree with the character.
Ever since fans started hailing Terence Crawford as the GOAT after his victory over Canelo, Floyd Mayweather has been pushing for a matchup with him. The praise for Crawford hasn't sat well with Floyd, particularly since Mayweather was never an undisputed champion, while Crawford has now achieved undisputed status in 3 separate weight divisions. Still, Crawford has largely brushed off Floyd's efforts, insisting that a fight with him would only be easy money.
Using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he's in the limelight and stuff like that, but in certain situations he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
But like his core personality and his way.
Mayweather felt pressured to call out Crawford not only because fans were demanding it, but also because 2 of his former opponents publicly claimed Crawford was the better fighter, a statement that Mayweather viewed as a direct insult to his legacy. Alongside Canelo, Shane Mosley, who dropped a decision to Mayweather 15 years ago, also voiced the same opinion.
All right, Jeff Zimmerman here with the champ, Tim Desert Storm Bradley, 2-division world champ, and oh, by the way, a Hall of Famer. Man, Tim, I want to call you the most outspoken man in boxing, and I mean that affectionately. I gave Keith Thurman.
In an interview with Fight Hub TV, Shane Mosley made a bold claim, stating that he believes Terence "Bud" Crawford is actually a better fighter than Floyd Mayweather, though he still praised his former rival's immense talent. Mosley explained, "I think Crawford is better, bigger, he's moving up in weight classes and proving himself. Overall, I'd say Crawford is the more complete fighter. Mayweather was really good too, you can't take that away from him, he was very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have the edge because of his size, reach, and longer arms."
Who you think's better out of those 2, Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. Like he's actually he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather's really.
Fans and experts around the world have already begun to debate whether Bud can now be regarded as the greatest fighter of all time after defeating Canelo, a historic victory that has sent the 37-year-old to the top of the pound-for-pound list once again. Canelo, on the other hand, had made it known before the fight, but after his loss, he re-emphasized his stance and claimed Crawford was the better of the 2. Canelo Alvarez made waves during his post-fight press conference when he declared that Terence Crawford is a better fighter than Floyd Mayweather. "I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather," Canelo said at the post-fight news conference.
If you can compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Canelo's statement carried extra weight given that he had shared the ring with both Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. Making such a bold declaration right after a tough loss suggested either genuine belief in Crawford's superiority or remarkable sportsmanship on his part. His comments instantly ignited debate across the boxing world. Supporters of Crawford highlighted his willingness to move up through multiple weight divisions and consistently face elite opponents, while Mayweather's defenders pointed to his flawless record and unparalleled resume. Addressing the situation on the Ariel Helwani show, Crawford emphasized the significance of Canelo's words, saying, Canelo was in the ring with both of us. People can say whatever they want, but he's actually been in there with both of us, that's why he said what he said. Asterisk.
You know, how did that feel to hear that from someone like him?
I just was like, well, you know, it's his personal opinion. He was in the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, you know, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. You know, one where he felt like he was at the best.
By just pivoting, you know, on the angle and, you know, making Canelo reach. There were spots inside the ring that I saw Crawford, you know, try to counter.
In the end, the debate is likely to continue, as it ultimately comes down to personal opinion. What's undeniable, however, is that both Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford remain undefeated, at least for now. In Crawford's case, have held titles across multiple weight divisions, and will be remembered as two of the greatest American fighters in boxing history. Speaking with Fight Hub TV, Crawford's trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, wearing a cap with the word GAT, didn't hesitate to call his fighter the greatest of all time. He stressed that Crawford's dominance across 3 divisions is not just his own achievement but the result of an entire team's work and vision. When asked directly about Canelo's praise, McIntyre's reply was straightforward, who, Terence? Of course he is. Of course, he's better. Asterisk.
I think wins in a fight, you or Prime Floyd?
Me?
No questions?
Oh, why would you think that I would say Floyd?
I don't know, I thought you'd hesitate maybe even a bit, but no.
For Bulak, there's no room for debate. Crawford has already surpassed everything Mayweather accomplished inside the ring. Still, while the discussion continues to divide the boxing world, Crawford himself has remained composed. After outpointing Alvarez, he sidestepped the historical comparison, saying, Floyd was the greatest of his era. I'm the greatest of mine. There's no need to compare us. His words showed respect for Mayweather, yet they haven't stopped fans and analysts from keeping the controversy alive.
Who's better out of those two? Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. Like he's actually, he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter.
After all, Mayweather defeated a young and relatively inexperienced Canelo back in 2013, whereas Crawford beat a seasoned, battle-tested version of the Mexican star, adding weight to the current narrative. Sports analyst Stephen A. Smith highlighted this distinction, noting that Crawford's greatness comes not just from outboxing Canelo technically, but from his willingness to trade punches, absorb pressure, and still emerge stronger. At the same time, Smith drew a sharp contrast with Mayweather, describing him as a defensive genius who was nearly impossible to hit clean.
It's really good too, though. You can't knock him as well. You know, he's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have had the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because he's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely a technician.
According to Smith, that distinction is key. Crawford proved his grit and adaptability, while Mayweather cemented his legacy through an almost flawless defense. The boxing world remains split. Some argue Crawford has already surpassed Floyd, while others insist Mayweather's defensive brilliance stands unmatched. What's clear is that both defined their own eras and elevated the sport with contrasting but equally iconic styles. The Crawford vs. Mayweather debate is only just heating up, and with Canelo's admission and Bomac's bold remarks, it's a storyline destined to dominate headlines. One thing beyond dispute, Bud has already secured his place among boxing's all-time greats.
Crawford against Mayweather, right? How do you think a fight between both of them turn out?
If Mayweather gets hit with Crawford like I hit him and rocked, it might not end well for Mayweather. They might be over it. But Mayweather could outbox Crawford, I think, because Crawford has the mindset that I'm trying to knock you out, and Mayweather knows how to play to that I'm trying to knock you out type of thing, because he's used to people coming at him trying to hit him hard all the time.
Still, an intriguing discussion emerges when comparing how Mayweather and Crawford each built their undefeated records. Active fighter Ryan Garcia raised this very point during a September 10th segment of Ring Magazine's Inside the Ring show.
You know, and another where he felt like he was at a disadvantage when he had a rehydration clause and he was younger. So, you know, I don't know. You know, I don't go off of that. You know, Floyd is the best fighter, you know, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter in my